Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. Today we are on the flag bridge of the cruiser Little Rock in Buffalo, New York. In previous videos, I've talked about how aircraft carriers make poor flagships. Their superstructure, particularly the islands, are relatively small and cramped, and there are certain features that must be in there. You have to have the bridge for navigating the ship. You have to have the captain's at sea cabin. You have to have flight control up there. And so the amount of space that you have, particularly on a World War II Essex-class carrier, is very small. Even the Midway class that follows them, you've got a lot of that space being taken over by the uptake. And that's why the battleships often are used as flagships. But in the 1950s, the Navy is down to 4 battleships, and often fewer than that. So what ships serve as fleet flagships in the absence of a battleship, either if there aren't any in commission, or if your small number of battleships aren't available in your particular theater of operations? The U.S. Navy has at least half a dozen fleets in the 1950s that are out there around the world, but only 4 battleships, and usually only 1 or 2 of which are actively deployed at any given time. So, a number of the cruisers are specifically modified to be able to be used as fleet flagships. Little Rock is one of them. Here, you can see the bulkhead that was the original extent of the forward superstructure. And yet they built this really nice, almost catwalk that's enclosed around it. It's an entirely exterior space, nominally, but it's fully enclosed. It's got a roof overhead, it's got windows. So it's a nice, comfortable space. We even have steam radiators in here for operating in the Atlantic with 2nd Fleet. And when I say Fleet Commander, Little Rock served as the flagship of both 2nd Fleet and 6th Fleet at various times in her career. So not just the flagship of a cruiser and destroyer force or the flagship of a carrier task force or something like that. The flagship of an entire fleet. 6th Fleet is all of the American ships in the Mediterranean. 2nd Fleet is most of the Atlantic ships that the U.S. Navy operates. So this is a 4-star Admiral and their entire staff. It is no small number of staff for coordinating that many ships. But this is not the extent of the flag spaces that were made available on this ship when she was retrofitted. It's worth pointing out, much like Iowa was the only one of the 4 Iowa-class battleships that had official fleet flagship accommodations, even though they were all used for it, not all of the cruisers that were modified had fleet flagship accommodations. Little Rock was specifically upgraded with this capability. Now we're on the other side of that bulkhead, which has been modified to be flag plot. This is another large space, significantly larger than any other single flag space on the Iowa-class battleships that I can think of. Much of the original equipment has been removed, so that lends to this feeling larger. However, it's a good size space directly attached to the flag bridge where you get an exterior view. Flag plot is where a lot of your radar feeds and other things like that would be coming through, similar to the plot in CIC, but specifically for the admirals. These spaces were significantly smaller on the Iowa class in World War II because things like adding these radars were very much an afterthought to their design. This ship was specifically retrofitted with that. As the Iowa class are modernized throughout the years, they are specifically modernized to remove flag spaces and not add more. And so they never get this sort of conversion. I would love to see an Iowa with the flag bridge and even the main bridge expanded similar to how you see on cruisers like Little Rock and Des Moines, both of which have significantly larger bridges enclosed. We're just aft of flag plot right now and still, 1 story, 2 stories above the main flag berthing area, but we've got a couple other flag spaces here, so it shows you just how large the flag spaces associated with a fleet flagship like this that's actually modified to do that job are. So this is the flag plot message room. I bet there's some decoding that's happening in there. We've got a radio room over here. This one is still active. If you're a ham operator and a volunteer in the Buffalo area, you might be able to transmit from there. And much like the captain has a sea cabin, the Admiral has one as well. This is where he would be when you're at sea, but let's show you the space where he would entertain foreign dignitaries. So now we're in the real flag cabin. This is where the Admiral would be most of the time whenever you're not at sea. And this is where he would entertain foreign dignitaries, important people, things like that. And this is the 6th Fleet flagship. It's sailing all over the Mediterranean where our NATO allies are, or non-allies that we want to impress. And so those sorts of foreign dignitaries are being brought on board this ship all the time. Not only is the Admiral a 4-star Admiral, someone of great importance who deserves a space like this, but also he needs to impress some people. So this space is very cool. This is one of those spaces that has just been restored by the folks here at the Buffalo Naval Park. So some of the cool features around here. You've got the film projector booth cut out here. So if they want to show a movie, they can throw it against a projector over there. Everybody can sit here and watch the movie. You've got, of course, the desk, a sitting area, the real place where you're doing your work and rubbing elbows on a ship like this. And then, of course, we've got the stateroom back here. So this is the Admiral's stateroom. Notice, a little bit bigger and better than the one we saw up as the sea cabin. The beautiful wood grain painted furniture, just like you see on New Jersey. And the flag here is not actually a 4-star Admiral's flag. This is the Secretary of the Navy's flag. This one is specifically from Ray Mabus, who was the Secretary of the Navy under President Obama and who served as a surface warfare officer on Little Rock from 1970 to 1972. So, even though this was an important space for a ship like the 6th Fleet flagship, it's one that has only just been restored. What are some other spaces you'd like to see restored on museum ships in general, or Little Rock, or New Jersey in particular? Let us know the ship and the space in the comment section down below. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. For today's video, consider supporting the ongoing restoration efforts here at the Buffalo Naval Park on ships like USS Little Rock and the submarine Croaker and the destroyer USS the Sullivans. There's a link in the description below if you'd like to donate to continue supporting projects like these, and also a link to their social media where you can see videos about the work that they did to restore these spaces. You can support Battleship New Jersey by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find about us in our channel. Thanks for watching.